Oh.
Hey. Oh, Hey guys, what's up? It's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I put out videos every Tuesday and Friday. I have a lot of book content, which is why you're here today. I also do some other lifestyle travel content. If you like what you see, you know, feel free to just hit it. No pressure. I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I've talked about all of my favorite books somehow in some other video, but I wanted to just kind of make one cohesive video where I'm like sharing all of my favorite 5-star reads of all time. I got back into reading, like regularly reading as an adult a little over a year ago now. So these are all books that I've read in the past year that have really helped me get back into reading, that were page turners, like they're great books to get out of a reading slump with. And they were just books that I really just felt like I lost myself in. I have 7 fictional books and I have 3 nonfiction books. The 3 nonfiction are more self-helpy. I don't have all of the physical copies of the books. I love them so much, so like I gave them to my mom and my friends and stuff so they could read them as well. So yeah, I think we should just get into it. Also, shout out to my friend Emerson for giving me this hat. The first book I would like to talk about, I read this book in a day. It was like the 4th book I read in this sort of like year of reading that I've gotten back into, and I read it in a day, and it was just such a page turner, and it had such a twist at the end. That's The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, I think is his name. This is basically about this woman, Alicia, shot her husband allegedly, and is in this mental institution, and she hasn't spoken a word since her husband was killed. There's this psychologist, Theo, who's like, I'm gonna get this woman to crack, like I'm gonna figure out what's happening. And he wants to like unravel the mystery basically. It's such a well-written book, even without sort of like the cleverness of the twist. I really want to see this made into a movie. It was so thrilling. It moves quickly, like it's a quick read. It's only like 320 something pages, so it's quick. The next book, I talk about this book a lot. It's called Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This book made me ugly cry. I mean, I love the way Colleen Hoover just writes characters in general. I think she does amazing character study work as an author, and this one specifically just hit in a very, very powerful way. It's about this girl, Kenna, who is basically returning home after 5 years in prison after this tragedy that happens, and she is trying to prove herself to get her daughter back in her custody. She meets the owner of this bar who might be able to help her out in some way, and it's just basically about her journey post prison. And there are other factors in it that make the story really interesting, but they're kind of spoiler-esque, and I don't want to ruin it, but like if you're looking to just be transported into a brilliant into like a brilliant character study, this is the book for you. I also really want to play this part, so Colleen Hoover, if you're watching, hit me up. Okay, this next book is a book that I believe I got off Book of the Month. I didn't really think much about it. I was just like, this looks like it might be interesting, like whatever. And this is another one of those books that I read in a day. If you're looking for something that's going to keep you on it like the whole time, plot twist after plot twist after plot twist, I predict a lot in thrillers and like mysteries. This book kept me so on my toes, and it was really refreshing to have something not be super predictable. The book is Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier. How do I explain this? Again, a book that's kind of hard to explain without giving spoilers. It basically opens with this woman, Paris, who is arrested for possibly murdering her husband, who is this famous dude. I think he's like a comedian. So it kind of like goes into that. It goes into this trial that happened 25 years prior with this woman known as the Ice Queen, Ruby Reyes, and their connection to each other is unraveled as the book goes on. The thing about thrillers is that it's really hard to make a compelling case that it's a good story because you can't really like say much about the story, but I promise this book is so good. It only has a 3.98 on Rotten Tomatoes on Goodreads, but it is like like a full out 5-star read for me. The next book, this is a popular one. It's The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am so into old Hollywood stories that take place during that time period with those people and kind of like the secret lives that they led behind the public image they put out. Like, I just find those types of stories to be so interesting. It's like what's behind all of the glamour. Well, I guess it's really about this young woman, Monique, who is enlisted to write Evelyn Hugo, this famous actress from like the 1950s, takes place present day. She's enlisted to write this woman's biography. Evelyn has her over and talks about her life so that she can like write it. And it goes into all of her husbands and the stories behind each one and her journey from being this poor child to this superstar. I will say the title is clever. I don't want to say too much else, and there is a chilling twist at the end. The kind of like flashbacks of like going through all of her husbands obviously takes place mostly in Hollywood and California, but Monique interviews her at her like Upper East Side apartment in New York City, so you kind of get to go back and forth between those two places, and it's a really, really quick read. If you're really into Hollywood as a backdrop, if you're like an actor or like just in show business in any way, like I think this would be cool. And even if you're not, it's a really fun story. The next book I actually read like before my year that I like rediscovered reading. It was like one of the 4 books I read in like 2021 or something. And that book is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. It's about these identical twins that grew up together and they're white passing black women. They get separated and lead these separate lives, and one of the women stays in their town and lives life as a black woman, and the other woman leaves the town and is living a life as a white woman. It kind of goes back and forth and examines the differences in their family lives and communities and the struggles that they kind of both face. The sister that is living this life as a white woman, she's married to a white man who knows nothing about her. It's a very interesting study on racial dynamics, obviously, but it's also just an amazing book, the way that it's written and the drama of it, and the end's good. The next book is, I wanted to throw a little rom-com in there. I just read this. It's called The Bodyguard. I do not like rom-coms. I find them so boring. I find myself not being super interested in the characters, and it's hard saying this is like 5 stars because it's like cotton candy, this book. For what it is, I enjoyed this book so much. It was just so snug and so cute, and I found myself laughing out loud a lot, which is like rare for me when I'm reading a book. It's basically about this girl who is a bodyguard, and she gets assigned this famous actor, and she basically has to like live in his like family's house and pretend to be his girlfriend so that they don't know that, you know, there's like a threat to him or whatever. I'm sure you can guess what happens. I could see this being like a really, really bad Lifetime movie, but I could also see it being a quintessential Julia Roberts amazing rom-com. Depends whose hands it falls in, but the actual book is just, I just really, really love this book. If you're looking to just kind of have a very, 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 very digestible read, this is great. It moves really fast, and it's, yeah, I don't even think it's like 300 pages. It is 302 pages, so quick read. Lastly, I have Mame, which I also recently read in the same reading vlog that I read this in. This is about this girl, Maddie. I think it's Maddie. Yeah, she is a woman living in London. Her dad has Parkinson's, and her mom and her brother have basically like abandoned ship and just put all of the responsibility on her. She's really not lived life for herself, and she's very young. It's kind of like a coming of age story. Maddie is a young black woman and she's living in London. You get a lot of first person experience of what it's like to be a black woman in predominantly white spaces. You know, it goes through her struggles at work, with friends, with dating, all of that, and like how being a black woman plays into or has a part in experiencing all of those things. It's a beautiful character study. I really enjoyed reading it. I laughed, I cried. Like, it was just a beautiful, beautiful book. If you're looking for a snug book with depth, I would recommend this one. And again, like, this is like not a super long book. Let's see, we have 307 pages. Quick read, amazing. And then my 3 nonfiction books, they're all in the self-help category. The first one is a book I should probably read now because I've just been experiencing like weird bouts of social anxiety, which I never have experienced in my life. I might give this one a reread. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. And it just basically goes through things that are worth giving a fuck about and things that are not worth giving a fuck about. Once we embrace our fears, faults, and uncertainties, once we stop running and avoiding and start confronting painful truths, we can begin to find the courage, perseverance, honesty, responsibility, curiosity, and forgiveness we seek. And it's just basically figuring out like what truly matters in life, how to define your expectations, how to practice contentment, and just things that just aren't really worth thinking about or fretting about in the long run. And it's just such a good reminder on that perspective. I can speak from my experience being in the entertainment industry. There's a lot of things people get wrapped up in that are very superficial and really at the end of the day meaningless. There are also a lot of parts about being an artist, being an actor, that are very meaningful and very deep, and this book for me made me reevaluate what those things are and allowed me to focus on the things that really matter and not sweat the superficial bullshit. Whether you're in the entertainment industry too or you do something else, it's such a refreshing slap in the face in a good way. The next 5-star read I have here for you is Essentialism, The Pursuit of Less. My boyfriend, Jean-Luc, recommended this to me. We both do a lot of things with our lives. Like, we're both actors, filmmakers, business owners. We work other jobs for money. Like, we're just kind of all over the place. This book, and also just this oversaturation of everything that's just thrown at us, it's a good reminder that like you do every once in a while need to take stock and just like eliminate things from your life. What is working, what is not, what is serving me, what is not, what is necessary, what is essential, and what is not. And once you kind of do that and take stock and eliminate other things, you have so much more room to think and have your own thoughts and like experience life. And it just kind of goes through what that looks like in terms of work, home life, and just all of that. And it's such an amazing book, and I really, really recommend it, especially to young people that just feel all like disoriented with the amount of information we get thrown every day. The last book I have is Attached. This book is amazing. I think it's even helpful if you do have a secure attachment style. Basically, it goes through and describes the 3 attachment styles: anxious attachment style, avoidant attachment style, and secure attachment style. It goes into how your attachment style is based on kind of the environment that you grew up in, how your parents attached to you, and how that kind of manifests in your relationships as an adult. It's like therapy. It helps you be self-aware, makes you realize why you might have certain thought patterns when it comes to relationships. And I feel like these thought patterns can apply not just to romantic relationships and dating, but also friendships and professional relationships and all kinds of relationships. It does talk mostly about romantic relationships, but it really did help me to identify thought patterns that are just not healthy and that are really just projections and not really rooted in like the reality of what's going on. And I think that like we all kind of do that to some extent. I recommend it to literally everyone. It kind of takes all of these toxic ways that I think a lot of people think about love, relationships, all that stuff, and it helps you kind of detoxify that way of thinking. So yes, those are my 10 5-star reads. I plan on making a video like this maybe once a year just to update you guys on, my voice just cracked, on, you know, what I've been into and what's been working. Oh, I'm tired of hearing myself talk. If you've read any of these, you have anything to say about them, leave a comment below. If you have any other book recommendations or any requests for a type of video you would like me to make, also just let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. My book audience is my fave. Hold for playing. Look around, look around. It's really loud. It's like really loud. I don't feel very good about how loud that is, honestly. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Have a good weekend. Bye. Oh my god. Okay.